This is really important, Alan, because we talked about fiat currencies there, and the design flaw in state policies and government in the past has been inflation can take place. And you put it beautifully in the book. You talk about it's a game of musical chairs. So we kick the can down the road, but eventually it's going to come back and bite somebody in the butt, and it bit everyone in the butt, particularly the consumer, particularly the masses in 2008.
That is absolutely correct. A lot of people would blame our financial system, our government, so on. Maybe. But the truth of the matter is, if you look at our political system, they are all almost the same in terms of final result. The politicians are being elected supposedly to represent people, but they're limited to certain terms. They would make any kind of promises, and their self-interest is to protect the best interests of the people who put them in office, who voted for them. Unfortunately, their power is limited. They can promise you anything. They may be hopeful of doing anything, but they would not be able to carry out a long-term vision to truly protect the best interests of the entire nation. So at the end of the day is there would be all kinds of promises being made, but it's mainly for their self-interest, for those people who elected them. As we have seen, no matter in which country, in which nation, it would always lead to overspending, to the creation of more and more money out of thin air, to a lot of promises that have been made and never kept. So the only way to pay for all those commitments is to create more and more money. The end result is that is another taxation of the citizen over and above the direct tax. The value of money becomes less and less. And using fractional reserve to allow the financial system to provide a lot of loans for the sake of earning more interest, making more money for the bank and so on, that will further devalue the currency. So the whole thing is the nation, the citizens and so on, could have a lot of fun when the musical chair game is going on. But at some point in time, we'll get ourselves in trouble. It will stop. And someone will end up holding the bags. In this particular case, would be the citizen of that particular nation. And we've seen it time and again. When the country overspend, eventually someone or the entire country would pay for it. As in the case of Greece, there would be a financial stop and nothing would go on. And people cannot withdraw the money. They could end up losing their life saving. In the case of digital currency, the commanding difference is once the currency is being launched, it's being governed by algorithm. It's being limited to the amount that is already being agreed to based on the algorithm that everyone has agreed to, whether it's the maximum amount of digital currency that can be issued or the new currency that's being issued. And the other concept that I would bring up that's quite simple, but very important for our listener to understand is the concept of a decentralized entity. We are very familiar with the central authority, centralized entity in which there is a party, someone is in charge, the government, the bank. There is always that third party that you have to go through. They can tax you, they can charge you with fees, they can interfere with the transaction or things that you do. They can, in essence, they have the authority to control you. In the case of decentralized entity, there is no central authority. is always between two parties. When I pay you directly. There's no middleman. That transaction does not have to be approved by a central authority, which typically would charge you a fee for doing it. Those are the main differences that we need to know.